Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm just in my 14-day trial of the NeuralDSP Fortin Nameless X, the new one that just came out with or revamped. I have to say that this one is by far and away one of the best distortion plugins that I've used by theirs. I don't know if it's my guitar, the way that I play, the way that I can't produce my own music. Maybe it's I'm adding too much bass, but I feel like a lot of times the sound has a ton of woolly bass that I can't seem to get rid of without taking something from the whole sound. This amp does that and more. It sounds huge. I feel like I'm playing through an amp, but with all the best things of a plugin, like the feel, the response. But wow, they're really starting to nail it. And I have to say that this is the only one with transpose. Maybe not with the time-based effects, they kind of get wonky, and maybe I just don't know how to record those correctly, but I feel like when you transpose with delay or reverb, it almost sounds like an auto-tune. You kind of hear the wah, 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 wah. And this amp, I would say when you're doing high gain stuff, is the only one that I feel like actually sounds good when you use the detune knob. There's times where I've tried to make something sick and heavy, but I'm like, I have to detune. And I tried using the transpose knobs on some of the other ones, and me personally, it just doesn't have the clarity that I'm seeking. But this one, holy cow. As I talk about all these heavy tones, I have to say that right now I'm stuck on one that's like a dotted eighth note delay. Kind of reminds me of like a Buckethead or Paul Gilbert. If you don't know those two people, Big Sur Moon by Buckethead, and I can't remember the song by Paul Gilbert. If you know it, leave it down in the comments. But I believe it's called the Delay Song or Dotted Eighth Note Song. Very, very awesome. And if you don't know it, it's like, and it gives it that choppy. I'm not at the right tempo, so it doesn't have that dicka 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 dicka. But for what I'm doing, I'm at the right tempo. So let me just start that. I need to kind of warm back up to get back in the pocket of this delay. Of course, I'd make a mistake and just ruin the whole chord, make it all diminished. Let's go try some of these heavier tones that I was talking about. One that really stuck out to me, and I hate to say it because I don't know who Alex Winter is. I'm going to look him up after this and definitely jam some of his stuff because you can really make a good tone. This one's called I Can't Believe It's Not Bleed. And holy cow, this is the one I was telling you about, that if you transpose it, it sounds huge. I'll do that here in a minute. Right now I'm in drop D, and this is kind of those bass tones for drop D. Okay, so let's transpose it. I'm just gonna go down semitones until you don't prefer it anymore, or I don't. I'm just gonna take it down to 12. It's not big of a difference, but yeah, I mean, it still sounds like I'm playing through. I'm gonna turn it up just a bit, but it still feels like I'm playing in the same tune. All right, let's take it down another step. huge and it sounds tight. They've really figured out a way to either like low end cut or just, I don't know, take some of that woofiness away. But man, does it sound good now when you use the transpose knob. All right, so now we're 3 semitones down. Here goes that same riff. Sounds huge. Let's go 4 steps down. All right, so not that my playing is helping any, but it is starting to feel a little less tight and a little more flubby. And I'm giving you iPhone quality, so you're not going to hear what I'm hearing in the room. I could clean up my playing. It's not all NeuralDSP, but I will say that starting from 0 to about now, this is where I'm really starting to hear, okay, I've transposed it, or oh, they've transposed it, just by that synthetic bass wooliness that it gets from trying to correct the guitar so fast, so quickly. Maybe how people pull this off is they end up recording a dry take of, or a DI, excuse me, of a standard tune guitar, and then as they freeze it, forgive my terminology, but I use Reaper. So before they freeze it, maybe they, pitch it down 4 tones, and it's not having to play at the same time as revamp. It's just reamping the signal. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know what I'm doing. So if you do, please leave it in the comments and we'll learn together. I appreciate it. So let's take it down 5. It goes all the way down to 12, which would be an octave and half steps for those that don't know. Still sounds huge, still feels huge. My playing was a little bit better that time through, so it did feel better. Let's take it down 6, see if I can keep it up. All right, I'm gonna go down 7. It's starting to feel unplayable, at least for me and my ears. I tend to be a little bit picky though, so you could still totally use this tone. It's just for me, the transpose knob only can take you so far. I feel like a down-tuned guitar or like a baritone guitar would be ideal, but setting up a guitar is not something that I'm very good at. So when I do get it right, I leave it. And that's why this transpose knob, when they first started coming out, I was like, oh, heck yeah. Because if you're a guy that was like me, bought all pedals and played amps beforehand, before I ever got into plugins, a whammy pedal, $200, or an octave pedal, $200, and the only one that would sound decent would be, the whammy. And, on top of $200 other pedals that were overdrives and another $200 gate. So I was really looking forward to this transpose knob, and it does get me there. I think it's my production abilities too that limit the sound. I'm gonna take it all the way down though. So that was 7 half steps down. This is 8. Dang, that's pretty low. Yeah, to me, I don't know if it's because of my old man ears, but I don't ever tune down this low anyway, so maybe it's more of a personal preference thing, but it's starting to sound a little bit more synthetic. I probably wouldn't use this. Here goes 9 steps, so we're almost an octave down. was my terrible playing, sorry. So yeah, to me, this is where it's unusable because I feel like, especially a lot of modern metal is people doing like a lot of open chord voicings, and that's where it doesn't sound the best to me. Like if you're just doing, sounds just fine, but like the people who are doing the, you know, that kind of open chord voicing, like Mark Holcomb from Periphery, I don't see the transpose knob being too friendly for you, especially because, like I said, when you add the delay and the reverb onto it, it just does something wonky. So I told you I'd take it all the way down an octave. Let's go down an octave. We're at 10 steps. Okay, so I'm still having fun playing with it. I'm still, you know, I think that this would be a great, maybe if you like cut the EQ and made it like somewhere in the back, like a and then boom, you know, just like come in heavy, maybe an octave up from this, or, you know, this has a really good like fade to the middle type of sound in my opinion. And I'm just not a very good metal player anymore, let's be real. I grew up in the 578 era, and I never left. I wish I did. Some of you metal guys are insane now, and I love the sound, and I can see it, and I can hear it, and I'm like, yeah. But man, does my own playing not translate to that anymore. I'm starting to play more softer things, but man, like people like Bleed Within, like, whoo, that dude is nuts. Okay, so this is 11 steps down. Here we go. It's just too much. I feel like it sounds like a bass, you know. It'd be a good bass tone if you don't own a bass. That would be another use for this. Maybe turn the gain down just to kind of bring it forward a little bit. And maybe that's what I could have done all these other steps where I'm like, oh, that's not for me. You know, I could have tweaked it, but I didn't. So here's a full octave down. And this time I'll take out some bass or maybe some gain, see if we can tighten it up down here. Here we go. So yeah, to me, sounds a little bit bassy. So let's see if I can clean it up any. Sorry, I've not messed with the front of this amp at all. I've just been quite literally going through the presets. So I took this preset down to noon at bass. We'll see what that does. Wow. Okay, so take everything back. I feel bad for the last 6-7 minutes of this where I was like, oh, it sounds a little flubby. User error. Holy cow, the bass knob is so responsive in this. I feel like on the Plini, like I said, it could be my playing style, but I tend to like take the bass all the way down unless it's a clean tone, because for whatever reason, a lot of bass comes through my playing, or it could be the speakers. I don't know, but wow, did that help clean it up? And I only took it from 3 to noon, so I'm gonna back it off maybe till 10 o'clock and try again. Dang, sounds pretty big. I might take out a little bit of gain and then I would bring the presence forward a little bit, maybe. Oh, I turned it down by taking that much gain out. Okay, so I showed you something heavy. I showed you some delay with like some clean stuff. I'd also really like to show you a lead that I just found too. I think it was under John, excuse me, I love this guy's playing, John Connorn, and he does some amazing breakdowns for NeuralDSP tones. He did the wide crunch lead and the wide lead. I'm just going to fiddle around with that wide crunch lead for a little bit, and yeah, tell me what you think, because it sounds huge to my ears. 5, 7, 8 for life.